Do you think postgrad degrees for pharmacists are beneficial, especially in South Africa? Stay tuned. Hi everyone, welcome back to Pharmers. If you're new here, I'm Patricia, your trusted pharmapreneur. And in this video, I want to share a few thoughts with you about postgraduate degrees and if it's worth doing them, and what my specific experience has been. So if you care to watch, stay tuned. The NHI has been passed into law, and for you to remain relevant, your facility has to get ready. All right, so before we get started, I want to ask you guys to check if you are subscribed to the channel or not. Statistics show that over 80% of you watch these videos without being subscribed, and that's a problem, okay? I mean, if this channel has ever helped you, if you found benefit here, please just do the right thing, because you know what? It's free and it helps us continue to do more. So let's get into the topic of postgraduate degrees. Very sore topic, very painful for some of us. I mean, I think it's almost like a rite of passage, but with different varying intensities and severities. I think my case was one of the most particularly severe and damaging and traumatic ones. A whole other video and story and book is coming out on that for sure. But for the time being, let's keep it light, let's keep it pleasant, and not mention names of any lecturers, supervisors, HODs, deans, and everyone involved who were like unhelpful, dismissive, racist, you name it. Yeah. So for now, we're just going to look at whether or not doing a postgraduate degree is beneficial to pharmacists specifically in South Africa and, dare I say, the Southern Hemisphere. Now, my position as a go-getter in life is always to do more if you can, because the bottom is already crowded. Rise to the top. It's airy and you have more space up there. But it really depends on everyone's circumstance of life. If you have opportunity earlier on, let's say you just finished your undergrad or B-Pharm and you have an opportunity, you have a sponsor, somebody's ready to pay for your degree, or you have the means to pay for it, I would say continue and do that. Why? Because it's under your belt and it's done. What you have acquired will never be taken away from you. Now, you might not know the topic you want to do, the specific field or sector you want to go in, and that's fine. In life, you don't always have to preempt everything perfectly. You don't have to work and have 5 years experience before you know exactly, oh, this is my preferred topic, I want to go into this. Sometimes opportunities come later in life and you think, oh, well, I'm working in this company and they're offering to pay for my studies, so let me take that opportunity. That is also a good case scenario. So go with whatever is right for your situation. Don't ever feel pressurized to go into debt, take massive loans just to do a postgrad if you don't have a clear path and avenue for that. However, if you intend to emigrate, or even if you're aiming at specific roles or companies within the Southern Hemisphere that you know require a postgraduate degree, then in that case, go and do one. And I want to take the pressure off of you guys. Doing a postgraduate degree and finding a topic is easily the most stressful situation to be in when you still have to write your proposal and your supervisors are not really helping. There's not any major topic of interest and you're like, what do I do? What topic do I do? And in that case, I would say just do the easiest thing. There is absolutely no shame in going the easy route. Look at the methodologies available to your study type, if it's qualitative, if it's quantitative, if it's mixed, and do the easiest one. Coming from a traumatized postgrad person, looking back, like, why was I trying to do all of that in all of that short amount of time? You know, you quickly learn that postgraduate is not what you think it is before you get into it. There's a lot of bureaucracy. There's a lot of nitty-gritty. There's a lot of politics in academia, a lot of little jabs thrown into between supervisors and students and the institutions and faculty. Like, you would never imagine the highly stressful, politicized environment that happens in pharmacy schools and other post-grad environments everywhere. Like, people start catching feelings. It becomes issues of jealousy. My student this, or my study this, my research this. People get so catty. Budgets are taken away. Budgets are withdrawn. Do the easiest thing. If you can get away with doing a qualitative where you just interview a bunch of people, do focus groups or do big surveys, then you're done. If it's lab-based and you're going to have to do experimental stuff, make sure your lab is ready and that they don't have to order materials and wait a year, or that stuff is out of stock and you have to sit there like a penguin regretting your choices when you're too far in. Investigate the department and the university you want to do your postgrad in. Interview some of the master's students, the PhD students that are currently there. If you didn't do your undergrad there and you don't know the lecturers personally, try and see, have a feel of what everyone is like. And trust me, pick the easiest topic. You're not in the Olympics. This is not a competition to see who has the most complex research. This is not the Nobel Prize of Science that you're aiming for. You're not getting any special award for having a hard and complicated research. Trust me. Okay, so that's out of the way. Pick the easiest thing you can do, because projects, research projects, or like any other projects in life, they will always take longer than anticipated, have more stress, and have more costs than anticipated. When you're planning your research, doing your schedule, doing your budgets, at the end of it, like, just add a little times 1.5x or times 2, because it gets real. People go on holiday that you never expected. People die. My dean died halfway through my thesis, and oh God, I don't even want to talk about that. But just delays. People resign, people retire, people die, people get sick. So you really can never anticipate, like, the issues, the hurdles that you're going to come across. People just leave. My supervisor changed jobs midway research and went to work for someone else. So just left me hanging there for like a year. Oh, Lord. I said I wouldn't talk about this, so let's move swiftly on. So yeah, anyway, companies. Do companies in the Southern Hemisphere really care for a postgrad? The majority of the answer is no. Nobody actually cares. However, that does not mean you therefore do not need to have a postgrad. Again, the bottom is crowded. If 100 people apply for a position and they all have a B-Pharm, but you have an MSc or an M-Pharm or even a PhD, you stand out. You shine brighter. You have more skill and therefore can be a preferred candidate. Now, that's not to say the flip side isn't correct. I've had to hide some of my master's degrees from places where I felt like if you're overqualified, they also will not consider you. There's this thing of like, people get scared and intimidated, even at work, with qualifications. And I also had to learn that the hard way. So sometimes, even if you have it, remove it from your CV. Nobody needs to know. If they ask you what time you took off or why there's a gap in your CV, say it was personal reasons, you took a hiatus or a sabbatical or you took a gap year, whatever. They don't need to know, okay? Sometimes you can conceal it, but that doesn't take it away from you and from your ultimate end goal if you want to aim for those companies that recognize that and that need that, especially positions. Like when I had my first master's, I remember that's what got me into SAPRA, because at the time they were looking for somebody with a postgraduate degree in pharmaceutical sciences to become an evaluator. So that's how I got into RA, by the way. But when doing my postgrad, my aim wasn't to get into SAPRA with it. So sometimes you also do stuff knowing that it's the right thing to do and that it will open doors, but not necessarily knowing which doors it's going to open. But having it is always a plus. That's the end of the story. I could talk on and on. I don't know if you guys have specific questions you'd like me to answer about postgraduate degrees. There still isn't a properly recognized structural system at the Pharmacy Council or with like pharmaceutical companies that recognize that you have a postgrad, and like there's not a specific pay scale that's associated to that. So if you think you're going to get more money because you have a postgrad, that's not necessarily true. However, you can motivate and vouch for that in your own personal capacity. It's not going to be like this role pays more if you have a PhD or a master's. That's not going to be the case. Not yet, but it's also not to say things are changing quickly, guys. If you have your degree and nobody pays you more for it now, think of in 5 years, think of in 10 years, like it's an investment for life. Suddenly a company opens tomorrow and they only require postgrad candidates. Here you come, you're eligible, which you don't then have to now start going to do or to look for a postgrad just because now they need it. You would have already had it. So I think opportunity also just comes and knocks at ready doors. Don't wait to get ready, because most postgrads take at least a year or two or more. So don't wait until there's a reason to do it. Do it ahead of time and have it under your belt. That's all I have to say for now. I could do a part 2 or 3. I could answer some of your questions, post them down below. Let me know if you have a postgrad or if you're thinking of doing one, if you're currently enrolled in one. Sometimes it's a good way also for academic interns to kind of knock two birds with one stone. If you do your academic master's, then you have your internship done and your master's done, kind of both within that 2-year period. So that's good. They said they were going to use PhDs as ComServes and eventually include that in the curriculum. More than 5 years later, here we are still waiting. I don't believe that's a thing yet. And also academia pharmacists get paid such peanuts. I recently saw a post for UKZN for like less than 600K a year to lecture. And I don't know if it's because of budgets are tight at universities, or they undermine the role of being there every day lecturing, marking work even after hours. I don't know what it is, but to me it smells of disrespect. I'm not going to study more and invest more time just to be paid less. So that's a big deterrent for people, I know. But again, always have your end goal in mind, you guys. If you want to be the prime minister, the president, the registrar, if you want to be top, I don't know, CEO or head of SAPRA, of what? All these people have PhDs. All these people have masters. If you aim for higher positions and roles, you know, WHO, policy specialists, and all these kinds of really bougie positions, you will require a postgraduate degree. But if you're happy to sit in retail and have your own store or have your own pharmacy and be done with that for your whole career, you don't necessarily need a postgrad. So it's really about your end objective of your career goals and what journey you'd like to go on, what opportunities you'd like to be ready for, and what differentiation you want to have for yourself. Okay, I'm done. Thanks for watching, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. If this video was insightful, put a big thumbs up and do not forget to subscribe. Thanks, family. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.